Level review. Amethyst. Almost everything good about it is directly ripped from the Golden. Everything bad about it is original. Elements of its gameplay are extremely present in Amethyst, after all it's a remake. Almost straight up copied from the original level with less than enough creative license applied at points. There are a few parts where the level tries to have original gameplay, but there's nothing that really sticks with me. Now, if the Golden is 9 circles, Amethyst is its down bass, purple down bass. Because although it does take these good elements and ideas and it may look satisfying in a showcase, it is straight up ass to play. And we can prove this from principle, you don't even need to be a top player. Let's take the Golden, which uses a basically identical gameplay style and is similar in length. That's currently 64 on the list. The gameplay here feels fairly difficult, but it's still fun to play. It's right on the edge of how hard it should be without being cancer, and that's why it never quite ended up being top 1, because NSwish didn't want to make it cancer. Amethyst, despite having basically the same gameplay, is top 1 in difficulty by quite a margin. This is never going to not be cancer. Timings are straight up unfair and unfun to anyone with less than the highest level of skill, and even then, players like 𝐍𝐃 just straight up hate playing the level. Why? Well, it's not just the forced difficulty, it's also the hitboxes. Hitbox representation is downright abysmal in Amethyst, which if you're making a top level, is basically the one thing you want to get right. It's incredibly inconsistent and just wrong at times. Deaths feel unfair and forced. But why even aim for top 1? Why not make it easier, well balanced, maybe even fun to play, around its ideal difficulty, say top 50? Because nobody would care. Because people would beat the Golden instead because it's the better level. Because the level would become forgettable. Because Amethyst is trying to be important, not being important. At any level of difficulty, people will always choose to play the original level with the most atmosphere, because it's something you can be proud of beating and having played in its own right. This is a recurring problem with upcoming top 1s. They're only top 1 because that's the only way anyone is gonna care about them, and that's the sad truth. Difficulty isn't justified, it's used as compensation for a lack of cohesiveness, atmosphere, and originality. We see it with Apocalyptic Trilogy, that level is a ghost now. I haven't seen anyone talk about it since it got verified, and that's because it has this exact problem. Except it was too easy and no one bothered to care. And by all means, congratulations to Popoff on the achievement. Nobody is downplaying how batshit hard it is to beat this. If they are, they're just stupid. But please get proper playtesters next time. The lack of even basic playtesting is incredibly obvious. I've seen so many playtesting circles around these upcoming top 1s that are half full of clout chasers, yes men, or friends who just want to have a copy of the level, who have no intention of actually providing any more than a smidgen of feedback on the gameplay, let alone anything correct or valuable. This just results in a lack of thought being put into the playtesting process. I just don't think any playtesters on this level have the balls to say, hey, maybe this kinda sucks, when that's literally your job as a playtester. It seems like all these people are doing is getting tiny runs going, yeah, this is pretty hard, man. Bad playtesting is killing top levels right now, and this is half of the reason why. You don't even have to be a top player to see how much it sucks. I know this is an issue 99% of the community is never going to be bothered by right now, but it bothers 100% of the people who play the level. And the top players right now are going to get extremely bored of the game if levels with this quality of gameplay keep coming out. Top play survives on passion, and there is nothing to be passionate about here. There's going to be a complete lack of motivation for players when all they're forced to play is difficulty slop. This means less top play and less progression for the game. Hey, now suddenly it does affect you. Something has to change. Then there's the whole CBF issue, so Popoff basically hyper-buffed the first quick to have a wonder bajillion pass rate on CBF, which 𝐍𝐃, the only person who can be bothered to play this, just decided to brute force from 0, to which Popoff went, no, I'm re-verifying the level to add a CBF blocker, so you can't do that. To which the list replied, you can't do that. He could continue playing on the first version. It's a complete shambles that I'd have to address in its own video. But again, none of this is good for Level's case. Well, that's my opinion on the gameplay. I do think it copies the Golden quite well for what it's worth, but in the end, that's what it is. a copy, standing on the shoulders of the golden at best. But what about the decoration? Well, it's kind of okay. It's a mix of straight up ancient glow parts and some new parts made to fill in the gaps. Let's not get this confused, this is an old project. I think I'd use the word inconsistent to describe the decoration of Amethyst. Parts with extremely high levels of depth that are pretty well done are followed by extremely flat parts. Parts randomly have a strong vignette with little to no justification that add nothing to the atmosphere and only exist to hide the fact that this part is egregiously copy-pasted. Effects are cheesy and are very badly done in this level as well. I don't know what kind of attempt at a cool groundbreaking effect this is, but please leave it to the professionals. Okay, most parts aren't as bad, but again, fail to fall together and feel like a cohesive project. Take the golden again. For a while years ago, I didn't even think the parts in this level were made by different people. That's how well they fit together, because each part of the level conveyed the atmosphere of the music and contributed to the pacing of the level in a meaningful way. And the parts all look like they were from the same level. You can't tell me that these parts look like they are from the same level. And this is one of the many reasons this level fails to have any aura. I think on their own, most parts are actually pretty good, but I guess the finished thing is less than the sum of its parts. There's no way you can convince me that any part of this looks better than even most parts in Avernus, the good parts of which were made at basically the same time this level was started. Then there's the end screen. I really hate when the end screen of a level thinks it's important enough to take up 20% of the level. It's not. Have you ever watched a movie where the credit sequence took up 40 minutes of the movie? It's that stupid. I'm tempted to just cut out overindulgent end screens when I showcase levels, just so people stop bothering with them. I get that a lot of effort gets put into making these, and the people who make them want recognition, but know your place, it's an end screen, not a last quarter of the level screen. If a creator's part is notable enough, people will remember it. Now, what was this end screen even worth? Name one creator in Amethyst off the top of your head, literally one. I can't. Compare this to Slaughterhouse, Bloodbath, Grief or Zodiac, TMN, Shock, 𝐿𝐄𝐄, Griefer, River. Memorable parts get remembered. You don't need a drawn out end screen laying out the creators to do that. Long end screens don't make things memorable, they just make you fall asleep. And it also means players have to convert their percentages to find out how much of the level they've actually beaten. High stakes, high drama 98% deaths, which top 1 verifications and stories thrive on, are impossible. So all in all, I think this level fails at a lot of things. It's an example of how a semi-high production quality does not equal good quality. This has always been applied to other media, apply it to this too. I give this level a 4 out of 10. This is how I'd improve it, but I think there is only so far you can go with a project like this. Please remember this is just my opinion. I've always written lengthy reviews in the descriptions of my showcases, so these videos are pretty easy to make for me. Peace!